Theatre at that time was a bit sparse, but then we begin to build it up, with little projects here and there, baby steps, and
Yeah.
then begin to grow and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And experimenting and trying to find new physical forms, as well as trying to tell new East and Southeast Asian stories. And not always Chinese. They're always drawing on different, we did Rashomon, we did Tibetan inroads, we did, there were lots of, any East, Butcher's Skin from Vietnam, Blue Remembered Hills, something very essentially British. And we wanted to sort of say that actually this is part of our drama school training. We can take a British playwright and we can sort of cast it in a way that shows the diversity of the UK, because they're a young character, 7 years old. I grew up in rural Herefordshire. It's set in Gloucestershire. So we did some of us in West Country accents, and it was just. And it was I think it was one of the shows that was one of the most diverse. It was us four, included Amit Lahar from Gecko Theatre, Christopher Simpson, who went on to do White Teeth and Brick Lane, and Tina Gambay, who went on to do Coronation Street. Yeah. So, black, white, somebody who looked South Asian.
Amit.
White is white Jewish, and then four sort of really different diversities.
Class, which again, it's the director David Glass. We had the I think privilege of working with a wonderful director and very inventive. The show,
Fantastic.
And to have seen. I suppose he trusted us as well.
Well, I trusted him because I commissioned him because I saw his work at Polka. And he's fantastic. Yeah. And I thought, if I want to be considered as a possible actor, I don't want to also direct. I don't want to direct an act. So we have to. If I'm going to be given, if I'm going to give myself a chance to be considered, then we need to get an outside director in and somebody with physical theatre skills. And I said to David, before you do the workshop, you don't have to cast anybody from the other ways.
That's right.
I was very clear. I said, you have to cast majority East and Southeast Asian, because that's the company, but it doesn't have to be us.
Correct.
We all had to audition.
We had to audition. We had to do his... We had to audition.
I was doing workshop.
I was very clear with him. It'd be great if you did cast some members of Yellowworth, because we want to be sure having his ethos. But actually, you don't, you've got to get the best physical theatre East and Southeast Asian actors for the job. And it has to be majority. So it's a cast of 7. So you have to cast at least 4. And then the other 3 as diverse as possible. And that's what he did, And then I also said to him, because the characters are 7 years old, so pre-puberty, could you cast it more on the principles of the Chinese idea of yin and yang? So not on the surface, but actually a bit deeper. So some people who might be physically male are actually, their essence is more yin. And some people who might be physically female, their essence might be quite yang.
Okay.
So I said, please, could you cast along those principles? And that's why Tina Gambay ended up playing a boy as Donald Duck.
Yeah.
You ended up playing Audrey, the girl. And, so it just made the show much more... So that was very progressive casting for 1999.
Totally.
That was way ahead before.
And it was interesting, the reaction, because people couldn't understand why we were doing this show.
Yeah.
Why is Yellowworth doing this production?
Yeah, Jane Edwards gave it a great review from Time Out, but she said, the pioneering Yellowworth, but, what an unusual choice to pick Blue Remembered Hills. And you think, why is it unusual? We went to drama school, British drama schools. We don't have to always do East and Southeast Asian stories. Do you know? So it was reclaiming that side of ourselves, that we are also British. Well,
that you're actors,
that we're just actors, exactly. So that was why that was done in that way. And I also wanted I think, so Blue Remembered Hills was one that really was a highlight of the company, I think. And the other, for me, was also Rashomon. Rashomon in terms of Kumiko co-directing, Kwong co-directing, me co-directing, Tom doing movement direction and one of the actors, and Philippe writing, adapting, and getting in Kazuko Hoki to collaborate with us. With
And we were
songs.
all originally in the show as well.
Yeah, and
as
we were
actors.
originally in the show as well as actors, and then
It's really wonderful, Rashomon, in the sense that, of course, the story of Rashomon is on three perspectives, right? And it so happened that we have three directors taking one perspective each,
Yes.
and then the other directors being actors in that one perspective. So it's a real company effort. We're all involved all the time, and then Tom is looking at all the three perspectives with the movement work, and so there's again a common vocabulary in terms of stylization, visual, physical, aspects that Tom looked at. It was a real company piece, I think. That's so wonderful about it, wasn't it?
yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.